everybody, and welcome back to the NLC Division 2. We're moving on to our second game of the day, which is going to be Rate versus Lucent. Oak, I think there's a little bit of stake work here on this one, so I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, it's going to be seeing how Rate and Lucent, because Lucent right now, especially after the last game where we saw Guap take the win, Lucent they were sitting in a spot where they could contest Guap out of relegation. Now that Guap have got the win, they have to beat Guap next week and also win this game and their following game as well. So it's all on them to secure that out of relegation game, I guess. I could have worded this better. The big thing for Rate is that now they're still tied for second. They're still tied for second, so we're going to be looking for them to secure this, to continue that fight for second place. You know, Natives sitting right at the top of the ladder, every other team's kind of sitting very close in that second half of the bracket.
I feel like Rate are really going to be playing their heart out here. I'm just having a quick look on my other screen. So Rate next week are playing London United, which, let's be real, 3-win, and then they're playing Rising Dawn as well, who probably they've got like you know, this game and then one other like probably kind of serious game, but they could potentially just go for the full 3-0 run here, and that could put them in with a solid chance of making it into the like at least holding on to their spot at the top.
Yeah, you have to be careful with statements like that though, because both Lucent and London did win games on Tuesday. They seem to be pulling the hat out of the bag so far. So, is it the rabbit out of the hat? I don't know. Either way, they're on win streaks at the moment. They could continue it here, and this actually will be the game to see if Lucent even have it within themselves, because their game on Tuesday was actually incredibly shaky. The DBR did not have the best game, but once he hit mid-game, did pretty well with the deficit that he found himself in. So we're going to hope that there's less bleeding on that side of the thing, and maybe also Rate can continue their clean gameplay.
To be fair, there's one thing I've learned from covering NLC, UKLC, and Div 2 for a long time, is the script just goes completely out the window, especially in the final weeks. It just goes to hell and back. I'm kind of excited to see how that's going to actually look, you know, as we get onto the final week. But this obviously is that kind of like all important just before we get there. Hopefully we'll get into Champ Select fairly soon and we can see what actually is going to be going down in this game, because this game is going to be important for, I mean, every game is important now for some of these teams. For some of them, it's just avoiding relegations. For some of them, it's just avoiding, well, not even making to promotions. You know, Rate, they can keep themselves in a position where they could still make first. It's going to be very dependent on, you know, Natives having a pretty rough go of it for the next couple of days. I'm just seeing who Natives play. So Natives are playing Munster next. Not a lot, not unwinnable. Not losable. No, not unwinnable. I can't. Where's that? Where are Natives playing? It's so hard. I'm looking at like a very small thing on my screen, and I keep missing like who's playing. They're playing Domino after that.
They're playing, and then they're playing Unique at the tail end of it all. So, oh, are they? Okay. Yeah, I think so. I'm reading the right thing.
No, I've lost myself.
It's okay. Anyway, you're right though. The ladder's still incredibly close. So today's games, once again, we're going to be saying it all day, and we're going to be saying it next week too. They're close. It's these teams really have to find their own space within the ladder. So finally, we get to head into draft, and now we get to see how a few key picks on either side. I think the Olaf being one of them. It is getting buffed next patch, so I don't know how much priority it'll have right now, but it's something to look towards for next week.
Alrighty, well, the Ari gets banned away, the Seraphine, the Volley Bear, all being denied here. Just getting all of that out the window. Don't want to be dealing with any of that. And again, it's a mixture of banning what's meta, but also potentially just banning these comfort picks, because I feel these final weeks where you're desperate to find these all-important wins, sometimes playing comfort for, like, you know, especially like a mid laner, like give them a comfort like Mage or Assassin. I mean, Assassins maybe not, because, you know, Riot apparently don't like them anymore. But, you know, there is still all of those tools. Now, some of what you just don't want to be playing into is this Renata. Renata is so powerful. Denying that one away, and already seeing Lucent actually just banning away very powerful counter engage supports. So that to me leans that maybe they might look for a very aggressive comp, someone who wants to dive in heavy, because Seraphine and Renata both handled that really, really well.
Yeah, and that fits Yuta really well, because he is more of the aggressive style. His dictate has mostly been towards stuff like lead that we've seen him on a lot on previous seasons, but right now it's been that Viego as well, which has been a comfort, the Wukong, which is ever present in the meta. And with this first pick, we always see either that Wukong come in or the Seraphine. So with the Gnar instead, that means that I wouldn't be surprised to see the Wukong just default locked in, and then maybe we get to see the variety pick come in that second rotation.
Alrighty, well, the Wukong, like you said, picked up their second rotation for the side of Lucent. Taking their time to figure out exactly what they're going to do, what they're going to be looking to pair this up with. They could just go for like a powerful mid laner here and just play for jungle mid pressure. But
now that this Ari's been taken away, I wouldn't be surprised to see the default on Corki. We saw it a lot on Tuesday. We've seen it a lot in general. This champion has, especially if you build it correctly, hint, hint, it has a lot of priority once it's ever scaling. Any comp that you're struggling to find damage, slot a Corki in there and it does its job. I personally hate Corki, but I think it's really good right now.
I mean, I'm with you on that. I hate the Corki, but once you got those like 2 items, every item after it is just a major spike. Now Diana getting locked in here. Again, technically flexible, actually.
Okay, I love this because the Wukong, actually, this is something we saw on Tuesday. I keep getting to say that. I'm so blessed. Actually has a really good matchup into the Gnar. And now looking in this Diana, whilst they give away that flexibility pick of the Wukong, suddenly it's like, oh no, they could lock in Yasuo here. And then suddenly we have this very, very scary top side that we're going to have to really solidly counter pick to ensure that there's no, to get the security there. So very scary.
All right, well, there goes the Gragas right now getting locked in. Again, I guess there's the answer for like a Yasuo could get locked in on the side of Ray. Come on, give me the Yas, give me the brothers showdown, man. I want it so bad.
I'm actually such a huge fan of Diana Yasuo as well. I just feel like it's a very exciting combination to be locking in. And then getting to see the brothers fight as well. Yeah, I just want to note quickly, if they do lock that in, it's actually kind of scary into Yoni. There's a lot of ways to find leads in that lane by himself in isolation. And now suddenly, I think actually the Gragas being slotted in there, even independent of that combo, is so heavily disruptive to how this comp wants to play. And I'm not surprised to see the Akali locked in here, because if you go for that combo and then the explosive cast comes in, that can really put a fork in your plan.
Yeah, exactly. A fork in your plan. Is that a saying?
Expression?
Bro,
what?
It's too hot. It's melted your mind, man. Heat's getting to you, bro. But yeah, they are gonna put a fork in the plan and lock in that Akali. So brain fart. Getting themselves the Aphelios taken away off the table. Looking towards what's next here for the side of Rate. And be interested to see what the next couple of moments are going to be for these teams.
I think especially with where Lucent are locked in right now, I would be surprised to see double AD ban, maybe try and lock in an Ezreal and just ensure that counter pick into support, because I think especially with the Akali and Diana, these champions can be quite volatile within the early game, considering especially you kind of need access to ultis both of them to find space in lane. So getting support on map early to give them that vision, help secure the first 6 levels, can be so important. Instead they lock away the Ezreal, which immediately in my mind I'm thinking, okay, well, what else could they slot in? Maybe the Senna, which has been a big pick for Hoys and could be a fantastic takeaway right now. And then they have the flexibility of the Wukong. Oh, it could be huge.
Wait, you could be right. We could still see Yas. Could go like a Carly top lane, Yasuo mid, Wukong center bot lane. There is
plans within plans.
This would be the biggest brain draft I've ever seen. And then imagine if they lost it. Oh! No way.
No, come on. Nah, don't do safety. Don't do safety. Let's see the center. Come on. Nah, making it forwards. It's going to happen.
I want it so bad. I actually, I didn't know how badly I needed this until I saw it, and it's being teased.
It's okay. So it's fine. We know it's going to be disappointing, so we can talk about that. Oh,
that's a bit more exciting for Jinx. I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
Yep. So the Jinx would have been a new pick, a lock-in for you. I got there eventually, but the Kai'Sa is definitely something more within their comfort. I think considering the comp as well, there's so many different tools that give you access to that killer instinct to jump into fights. On top of that, there's very punishable champions here. Both Yone and Gnar can be picked off in different team fight patterns, especially if Gnar is low on that Mega Bar Rage Fuel, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, very tricky.
Mega Bar Rage Fuel. That sounds like some off-brand energy drink, man.
Yeah, that's what he's just been slurping. And it also means that look, now Hoys is forced to lock into a more defensive style AD, because if a Nautilus gets slotted in now after these double bans have been locked in, it becomes so scary.
Well, let's see what the final picks are going to be. The Braum being hovered here.
Okay.
Actually, I kind of like it because you got a lot of disengage now. Obviously, I think the big problem is you have situational engage. The situation is Gnar's bar. But you do have that great disengage with the fact that you can get everyone jumps in, because look at that Lucent draft. I said with those two bans, they were going to try and play a jump in on your face team. That is a team that wants to just get into the thick of it. Braum can put the wall up and kind of block a bunch of the everything kind of throwing at Hoyt. Obviously has the great tool, the Glacial Fissure. You've got the cask, you got the Gnar, you got a lot of tools to work around when someone jumps on you. And the Featherstorm, meaning that Hoyt is the person who they want to try and kill. He has a moment to get up, get impossible to hit, and then while his team can buy him space with all the tools they've got and take over the fight. I think Rate have given themselves really nice tools. Now, the problem they have is if they just don't get fights started on them. And let's say Lucent just 1-3-1 and then just look for individual picks. Then at that point, I feel this team could potentially crumble. But then again, even in the side lanes, Yone's going to be fine. Gnar's going to be fine. Once that Zaya gets into mid lane, she's going to be safe because of the Featherstorm and the Braum. So it's interesting where, like, I see the strengths, I see the weaknesses of both of these comps. I do worry that Lucent may struggle to actually kill the key targets just because of the tools that Rate have given themselves.
Yeah, so the only other worry for me for Rate is their damage access. How much is Zaya going to be able to actually hit targets in some of these fights? Because think of all the different disengage tools, all of the disruption tools as well. Wukong's clone, we have Killer Instinct and Akali having Shroud. But that's if Lucent play every engage correctly, and this comp is very tricky to pilot properly and cohesively to ensure you meet the goals you need every single time, especially when you're playing into Braum. You mentioned the Glacial Fissure, but it's every part of that champion's kit can be a very irritating tool for their 3 engaged champion, or 4, 5 engaged champions to play around. And combine that with the explosive casters you mentioned, all of these disengage can come in really clutch to ensure that actually Hoist does have those targets to hit. And I'm excited to see how this game plays out.
I mean, you say they're lacking damage, but you've clearly not seen a Yone in a while then, because goddamn, that champion goes Noon Quiver. Okay. I was about to say, because he just goes Noon Quiver, Berserker's Greaves. It's like, oh, he's full build, cool. He can one-shot people.
It's not even it's just Vamp Scepter. You get Vamp Scepter. It's the Irelia spike. It's the full build Irelia. You get the Vamp Scepter and then suddenly you're ridiculous. This champion spikes at every item, and he does have a couple of different builds, so we may see a Death Dance slotted in earlier, which will slow down that damage increase, but in turn give a lot more safety in some of these fights, and that could be exactly what they need when you're looking at the disruption. And as you mentioned, so this has been the Sunfire is actually, I think, best slotted in with junglers, because you get access to Red Smite, and I mean, we know how strong it is at the moment. It's actually getting nerfed next patch, so thank God, by the way. But yeah, it slots in on so many different champions. We've seen it on Irelia, we've seen it on the Yone and the Yasuo as well. Very, very strong.
Well, here we are on to the Rift for our second game of the day. Lucent going toe-to-toe here with Rate. As see what Lucent's plan is going to be. Obviously, they've got a very heavy engaged team. They're going to be wanting to jump into the thick of every fight. The question is are they going to be able to? Are they going to be allowed to? I'm curious to see how this mid lane goes, because it's been a while since I've seen Yone versus Yasuo, and I genuinely can't remember who wins or who takes over this lane.
Yeah, it feels like a very Season 9 matchup, you know, when Akali was still very in meta, because we do still see a fair bit of Yone, but Akali's only really jumping back up again now and has spent a fair bit of time outside of meta, and even now she's not exactly pick or ban, you know, she's sitting very low on that priority list. It's really up to players to decide if they want to play here in the first place. I think her return kind of has something to do with the durability patch, because of all the assassins, she's kind of the safest with her Shroud, right? She can jump into the fight, do a rotation, get the Shroud and buy some time. She has all the dashes and stuff. You know, she has a lot of tools to kind of play extended fights. A lot of assassins just want to blow you up immediately and jump out. But Akali can jump in, get a burst of the damage off, and then kind of play it safe while she waits for her abilities to come back up and around, and kind of actually probably the only assassin who really fares well in extended fights in that sense is we are seeing for you and Little Pants having a fight here for you. Not going to get himself caught out by the concussive blows, as he is able to pick up that ward at least. Indeed, and you're right with this match, specifically with that Akali, is that within the space it has right now, I mean, Akali is the most kind of overall DPS out of, I'm gonna say, any assassin. Somebody will correct me in Twitch chat, I'm sure. Go ahead, guys, it's all yours. But seeing how it slots within the draft, specifically dealing with the Yone, I'm excited to see the level 2, and also especially once Yuta gets access to that Moonfall, because this is really when these matchups can way more snowballing, and especially considering Errol took Ignite. post laning phase, there's going to be a lot of different play there.
There is going to be a lot. Seeing, for the moment, it's been more focused on this bot side, just seeing the pressure kind of come down. Errol here in the mid, just kind of chilling at the moment. Gold is pretty even between the two of them, as Curl actually about to gnar out, even though he hasn't got that gnar. Doesn't really want to take that trade right now. Obviously, the harass of the Mega gnar, mini gnar, it's pretty painful, but Mega gnar also just does so much damage. So DBL just waiting for the wave to kind of crash into him, and you can play it a little bit more chill for a bit.
So obviously we used to see the Wukong top lane a lot, then it kind of fell out of meta for a little bit before they allowed him to jump over walls, cheat the game if you will. But especially into a few champions that very auto a lot and fight very inconsistently and weakly early, Gnar being one of those, it means Wukong stacks up his passive very, very, very quickly, and that's really where a lot of his space within top lane can still be found. So especially once level 3 gets picked up and these wave states become a little bit more bearable for him, you'll see really why this Wukong can get slotted into this Gnar matchup specifically.
Well, 3 minutes on the clock right now, and things are a little bit chill, as we kind of expected. We did want, obviously, for the side of Lucent, they want to hit those level 6 marks. They want to kind of, you know, hit that first spike so they can start the fights. And also, their big thing is they just want to group up. This is very much a death ball comp. They don't want to be taking individual fights. They just want to be taking, you know, little ones one at a time.
Yeah.
Sorry, not little ones. They just want to jump in with everything and just blow people up. I don't know. I don't know what
you're kind of right, because as soon as the Braum is taken out of the equation, these skirmishes become so much more impactful, because then they actually have timers they can play around. They have Mega Gnar they can play around. They can think of the tempo of Gragas's ultimate. You know, these are all things they can try and choose to fight around, and that gives them so much more space. So if anything, actually, I want to see Lucent try and focus around topside as much as possible, because I think that's really where there's going to be a lot of give within the early. But Korosh is so caught out at the moment.
Yeah, he's stuck against the wall. He's caught out by the Mortal Steel as well. And that is going to be an easy kill there for Errol. Picking it up nice and easy. First blood over to the side of Ray. And this is kind of the problem. You're playing that aggressive. You are under threat versus the likes of a Gragas, who can easily find that crowd control. As Yuta is going to spot out here onto Jolbu. Jolbu actually may just try and get this fight, as Errol can come in with the backup. The belly box should be coming up fairly soon. They just can get a whole bunch of damage off of the Yuta. Yuta tries to dash and secure the kill, able to get that 30 off. Is he going to be able to time out? Yuta survives. Errol flashes over, but no, he's in trouble. Velocity jumps forward, and now they've got the follow-up. They just need to get a little bit more CC on to catch them out. The free-man knock-up for the Brawl comes in, and Koroshi goes down. Yuta's trying to chase him for a little bit more, as Hoy's making the hero play happen, but it's not going to go down. It is catastrophic for Rate.
Little Pants, what a fantastic little micro choice there. Hopefully once this fighting finishes, which it isn't going to let, as they're looking for more onto Little Pants.
Yeah, it looks like Little Pants will be going down. Beef's on the menu, and it's going over to Gragas. Jolbu able to pick up the kill.
He needs it, clearly. He's looking very underweight.
I mean, his AD carry, sorry, he is actually, comparatively to Yuta, pretty underweight right now, because Yuta is fed.
Yeah, that's an amp tome purchase, by the way. He's gone straight into thinking, oh, what's the most amount of AP I can purchase right now? And maybe once this fighting finishes, I'd love to get a replay on that fight from that engage from Little Pants, because it's just a small choices, and I really want to highlight how well Little Pants played that to ensure that they could find that turnaround, even though ultimately, actually, it netted a 3 for 3.
Yeah, it was a really nice fight for them, as we will go back into that replay. And it feels like, oh, Jolbu found Yuta, but what he doesn't notice is the bot lane already rotating up, and then Yuta able to play this really cleanly to avoid everything. Look at the flash from Errol.
There was multiple different plays here. I think he knew that Korosh had the TP there, so he was available to rotate towards as well. And even though Ray get this first rotation here, Yuta with that clutch flash, and then little things here. So Little Pants, watch this, okay? He headbutts forwards and then flashes immediately to get the triple knock up onto the team. And whilst you can say, yeah, so he only knocks up one extra member, getting that small amount there is so important for Yuta to actually come back in again and ensure they find the return kill onto Hoy's. It's the little things from Little Pants.
Every little helps, I guess. Dragon is up on the map, and we'll see whether or not any of these teams decide to actually rotate over towards it, or if they're just going to play it a little bit more chill on that front. 7 minutes on the clock. It is quite early, and they do have the capability to do it, though. So it's going to be interesting to see. It is a Mountain
Drake, which is a little bit blessed for whoever wants to try and take that. Notoriously quite easy to take early game, so... Ooh.
They're just about avoiding out there. Not gonna pull. Karos is not gonna pull that trigger. Absolutely no way. Haven't really seen much on the top lane as DBL just getting the old monkey bop onto Curl, but Curl is gonna keep the pressure up and gets that hyper proc in response as the wave's gonna get shoved in on the bottom side as well. Mid lane, the wave is currently shoving in favor of Errol. So for the moment, Rate mostly doing pretty good across the lane states, even with what was a pretty horrible fight for them. But the gold lead is still very, very close, and 300 of which is in Rate's favor right now. And we already saw, you know, a start of what could potentially happen either way. We saw how the disengage was able to keep people alive long enough for them to find a kill, but also the massive engage potential of this Alistar and other champions able to follow up on top of that, the power of both. So that last fight was definitely like a display of what could happen between these guys.
And DBL actually coming with a very smart purchase here, although I say that and he immediately gets chunked out as Caster's Curse as per usual. But this still play toe caps. Oh, he's using the ulti.
He's going to connect onto both parts of it just about, but that was a little bit messy there from DBL, to be honest.
Yeah.
Curl able to dodge away on most of that.
So the strength of the Tabai is that you get these extended fights where you get conk stacked as well as getting your passive stacked, so you have more overall trading power, but you kind of lack all in. You haven't really got any AD, especially with that Doran shield coming in as well, and it kind of shows there. He thought he could find the kill, but the damage just wasn't available. Now, really smart purchase from a role as well. I'm just going to keep going through items. Let's do it. This Seal? No, what is that? Coal. Thank you. Oh my god. The coal comes in, and this is really smart because not only is Jobu spending a lot of time around mid lane, they also burn the flash early into Korra, so that gives a lot of timing for early itemization to really kick in.
We've got 9 minutes on the clock, and Jobu does have that Rift Herald, so I'd like to see where he goes with it. Part of me would like to see it go mid and just get this Yone in this game as quick as possible. Like I said, with that Cole in the inventory, they are looking to try and funnel as much gold into him eventually. There's a Diana on the bottom side of the map, though, and has that Moonfall available, so quite scary for the likes of Rate. You have to be very, very keenly aware they might get jumped onto at any moment here.
And I think because of that vision getting spotted out, I feel like Heated just has to give up the space, especially because of how defensive this kind of comp is. The level 6 already picked up by Hoys. He has that Featherstorm, so really not vulnerable to early dives unless they play it exceedingly well. And you really need that Unbreakable Will as well.
Alrighty, well, Dragon in the favor of Lucent at least. The next one will be that Cloud, unless it's a Hex Tech, because there is a bug. Where Hextech doesn't have its own icon for some reason, and it still exists. I don't know why. Oh, it is a Cloud. Okay. So sometimes the Hextech will just show up as what other Drake it couldn't have been, so it would have been the Infernal or the Ocean, depending if it's a Hextech Soldex. It's a really fun bug. Makes my life really easy. The only way to tell is the... what do you call it? The Rift. The Rift. There we go. The old map state is Utah jumping in. They get the fate sealed off onto 2 though. Errol will follow up on the Fuyu, finds a sucking knock up, has to fall back though as Korosh actually misses out on the damage, but the turnaround on the other side of the map as Rate are completely destroying the bot lane. Fuyu has already gone down. Velocity tries to catch out, and Little Pants eating feathers left, right, and center as they get pulled back. He forced to use the ultimate. There's a big wave crashing in, and with the charge of the Herald, this could get super hairy here for everyone on the side of Lucent. Little Pants is coming in. DBL doesn't have the follow-up. Little Pants flashes forward, and Little Pants goes down. Right, absolutely obliterate Lucent in the fight.
And it's even after that initial engage from Utah. Remember that Lucent made the first play there. They used that Moonfall to try and pick off Jolba. Well, didn't work out in their favor as a fantastic Fate Shield, as you noted, was there to turn it around. And combine that with them, that earlier Herald incoming as well. It meant that they managed to split off Lucent entirely. And it really meant that Lucent's entire goals here was super split because Killer Instinct comes in, but Little Pants isn't there for the follow-up. Then immediately, Fuyu gets picked off, and now suddenly they're kind of playing half and half because Little Pants can't be there to support Korosh, which means that, yeah, you can see how split the fight is.
Oh, Korosh. He was able to get away, but he unfortunately missed his Shuriken flip and then had to use the second charge of his perfect execution to get away. And the Herald just basically dooms Little Pants here. There was nowhere for him to go. His tower was falling. He had nowhere to cower under. And Rate was just able to stick to him. And also, I love the fact they got the feather set up for Hoyt to be able to pull him back and secure that kill. Yes, Korosh lives, but overall, a massive injection of gold into the side of Rate. And now they are 4,000 up over their opponents. And, you know, a big chunk of that in that bot lane, mid lane, 1,000 gold up as well. Actually, To be fair, the gold lead is fairly evenly spread across all of the champions.
And that's really ideal when we're looking at the spike rates from these two champions. So Errol does actually itemize into a Hex because that's going to slow down that first item just a little bit. But especially with the build coming out from Hoyes, we're really focused on that first item in terms of initial fighting. Then combine that with, obviously, the notoriously strong one-item spike on the Yone. Obviously, 2 items is ready, really gets going. But they're looking for 2 fights happening at the same time.
Yeah, they are looking for it as Yuta gets sent back here. There's the fate sealed instantly, and he pings back to safety. Jolbu just needs to buy a little bit of time, goes for the quick turnaround onto him. The knockout comes down, and Jolbu able to find the kill. Beautiful power. That's that disengage we keep hitting on with Rate. They just have such effective tools to turn any fight in their favor. And you're talking about the potential access to damage being a problem here for Rate. Kraken Slayer probably gives you that access to damage.
It's not just that. Jolbu is also itemized into this AP item. Now, Korosh looking for the solo and boss side.
Yeah, can he get it, actually? His Curl doing a fair amount of damage to him. It's going to be very close. Curl wins the 1v1. Little Pants not going to get caught out by those concussive blows as he is going to stay under his tower. And Hoy's not going to risk it. They're quite happy as now Curl should go down here. Gets himself a little bit of damage off on the way out, but that's going to be it.
Yeah, there's a return kill, and that means he does actually end up pulling Yuta away from this mid side, so Hoyes and Velocity get a little bit more space in mid lane. But yeah, Jolba has gone for an incredibly, I wouldn't say greedy build, I'll say optimized for the team comp, because I think, yeah, already aware that sometimes this AD threat from Hoyes can be a little bit limited, especially if every member's targeting him. He's going to be using all of his tools to mitigate damage, and this means that you optimize straight into the Night Harvester, well, you definitely got some explosive follow-up.
Oh. Just testing the waters there versus DBL. Maybe it's time to reset as Lucent are going to be able to pick up their second dragon of the game. No contest is going to come in from the side of Rate, but they're quite happy with the fact that they've got a massive gold lead, and it's going to be an Infernal Soul, so we expect to see them start to contest them now. But the problem is for the side of Lucent is, yeah, they got 2 dragons, but Rate now just with that time have got themselves so far ahead of their opponents, and Errol, you know, on the next wave, will finish up that Cole, will go back to base and have a fair amount of money to spend because he's 3-1 and 3 right now, 120 farm onto the Yone. He's probably pretty close, if not done, with that shield bow for himself, even with that Hex Drink and Detour. He's going to be sitting so pretty, and another Rift Herald is up on the map. I expect to see Rate take that, use it to crack open mid lane, and at that point, they just control the map. There is no way Lucent can ever contest them. Yeah,
so they're playing a little bit behind in tempo at the moment because Errol still has to lead map. As you mentioned, yeah, as soon as this gold comes in, you'll see Rate very pivot very heavily towards vision control. You can kind of see it starting to show here as they're using all of their access within side lanes as well as this mid lane pressure to clear out the entirety of Lucent's vision and look towards this Herald. And yeah, you said it there, but Bork coming in first for Errol, which means that we're going to be seeing the on-hit variant. I think, well, to be fair, there's a lot of different builds coming in for Yone right now, but the Sunfire and the Bork combination has been one that's very, very common and slots in fantastically into this comp. They're looking for the fight.
Yeah, Little Pants just going to make sure that they're disengaging. Korosh, his shuriken flips this game have been a little underwhelming, constantly missing point blank ones, and you know, that could be the difference between him getting enough pressure onto Curl to kill him, but luckily Yuta is going to come in and just provide a little bit of pressure, meaning this tower should go down here in the bot side, although the wave already fairly weak and chipped away. So actually, it may just be an even worse trade for them as Rift Herald is going to get summoned on the top side, and everybody needs to get back to base to handle this. Teleport's coming in as well from Curl to make sure that they're able to get this, and tower tier number 2 in the top side will go down, and they are going to get the charge off on the other side of the map. Now, the problem they do have is they did just teleport their top lane to top side, so Rift Herald not going to get its charge off, and now that Death Ball from the side of Lucent charging in as Velocity's on the wrong side of the map. Hoyes on the wrong side of everything as the cast comes down. Little Pan's able to dodge away on a lot as Hoyes avoids away on the Void Seeker. So no way for you can get close. Meanwhile, Errol will take this top lane, this mid lane tower in the meanwhile.
Yeah, this is a rotational pressures on Rate perfectly handled. They use that initial pressure coming in towards the top side, towards his Herald. They rotate Curl into bot side early to open up the space in top side, and given the amount of disengage that they have, we've noted so many times now, Say that, but they're looking to pick off Yuta. And once again, looks like it's going to be an easy pick off as they get another kill. And yeah, even through all of that fighting for the top side, pulling all of those members towards top side, Lucent gave Errol the time to pick up this mid lane tier 1. And we know how important that is for later stage vision control, as well as priority in these next objectives, the Dragons and the Barons.
Actually, looks like Errol will be going that Sunfire build as he goes in onto DBL. Can't quite catch him, but Blade the Ruined King picked up, has to flash away from Little Pants as Little Pants actually maybe had the potential to kill him there. Errol going to pay some respect and just get back and reset, but he is building towards that Sunfire cape, or at least it appears to be with that current itemization he's got at the moment. I mean, Errol's going to be obnoxious as hell. I don't know how much you've seen of this Sunfire, Yone.
Are you a fan of bruiser items on carries? Because I am.
Like, no, I hate it.
I tried it. So I play a lot of Irelia. I tried the Sunfire Irelia build. It's very, very good. It's very good. I'll say that. It's very. I don't know if it's fun for the enemy team, but it's a very good build.
Bruiser items on carries is the worst. Like the worst thing is like I play quite a lot of assassins. Luckily AP assassins, so I don't really get to deal with the bruiser. Like Rengar going like.
Oh no, you wouldn't
Gore
like me
Drinker and stuff. Like I hate that stuff. That's like so unfun because like, I just get one shot in like twice the time it would have taken me to still get one shot, but I also do no damage in return. As speaking of people doing no damage, DBL I'm actually really able to think. Oh, I might have just cursed it actually, because Curl gets himself the 3-man wallop off, and Kurosh this time lands a shuriken flip and finds himself the kill.
But they burn the TP, so they're exchanging one member who's not really gold leading anyway in return for this mid lane tier 2, and that's right on timer for this Drake. They also burn the TP as well. They just, even these small plays, it looks like it's a win for Lucent, but Rate know the pressure they're meant to be giving up, and it's an exchange, and in return they pick up that tier 2, they get more damage in this tier 1, and also all the help that priority is going to give them on that initial vision.
Hoy's got himself the Featherstorm. Doesn't have the flash though, so he does have to be somewhat careful on that
scary.
front. Teleport's coming in, the moon falls there. Into the Featherstorm, he goes down, tries to pull the feathers back, tries to keep himself alive for as long as possible. Is able to get a whole bunch of damage off, but there's the shutdown, there's the dive. Rate losing their Gnar has been so painful for them. Errol tries to get the tidy up though. He does a lot of damage. He's able to survive just a little bit longer. The shields are coming in. Curl's coming around with a turnaround. Velocity's trying to get away as Curl is launching forward. Fuyu goes down, but Curl isn't about to know around DBL. Almost finds the save. Not going to get it in time. Double kill for Jolbu. DBL can't find the turnaround. Ace for the side of Rate.
Playing on their absolute limits there. They play right to the fine details of their HP pools, that little slim glimmer to make sure they get the maximum amount of damage out to find that turnaround. Exceptional play from Rate to not immediately give up those Tilkos and go, okay, we're going to sequester fight. We'll give up the Drake. It's fine. We're still on third. No, they continue to pressure for it. We get to see it showed fantastically here. As it has to be noted, a fantastic initial engage from Lucent, and they hit the right targets. They're all on board with what their goals are, but I mean, you can see the disruption coming in from Errol here. Just does a fantastic job of pulling all of the pressure, and this gives the time for Curl to get on the map, and combine that with Jolbu being, remember, full AP means that follow-up damage is always there.
Well, there we go. It was such a messy fight, and to be honest with you, yeah, it was hype. Rate won that fight, and it was super close. Yeah. But like that fight shouldn't have been close. The reason it was close was because they were just not playing respect to the kind of death ball of Lucent. You know, Curl goes top lane, tries to take a fight, loses the fight. Then suddenly bot lane, it's just one person down there, 3 members mopped up, and you know, Hoyes is easy to pick off when he hasn't got all 5 members on top of him, keep him alive.
Yeah, indeed. And little pick off there onto Little Pants is going to give Rate continual pressure. I mean, they already had the pressure in the first place, but it's even more so now, and it means that, remember, Little Pants, one of the key initiators for Lucent, maybe now they got the space to go for the ban, and we see them head straight towards it here. Remember, vision is very limited right now. That blue trinket is going to come in to show that they've at least started it, but Yuta's going to be playing off entirely off of that vision that Hakuba provides.
Yeah, and they're just able to take that down super quick as Errol jumps over the wall. He's onto Yuta. He's just going to zone him away. Remember, he can blink out the safety. Yuta gets cast away as well. Can he get close enough as they're trying to jump in? The face seal goes wide. Yuta's caught out. They are able to keep Hoyes alive as well. Baron is donezo here as Errol just does so much work for his team. And Curl can continue to chase. They do find a knock up onto Jolbu. Remember, Jolbu's actually worth a shutdown. They do get a whole bunch of additional damage off. Curl about to gnaw out, and Karosh gets caught. He gets himself in for an absolute decimation. Jumps away into the waiting hands of Errol. Errol cashes on another. Little Pants is low, and Little Pants is down with the Baron in Rate's pocket. This might just be a very quick game here for Rate. Yuta's coming up in 6 seconds time. Maybe if he can get a 5-man ult into the stopwatch, he might be able to save the game. But it looks like Rate, they're going to pay respect to that. They're going to use their Baron resets. They're going to get back to base, back to reset, spend some gold, and then just look to close this game out from there.
And quite a lot of gold to spend as well, because they've now found themselves in a 14k gold lead at 22 minutes. It kind of been noted how far ahead they are, and that's, I mean, you can see the kill lead is actually quite staggering. But look at the map as well. The comparison to no tier 1 has been taken on the side of Raze. So even with Lucent making some of these a few small miracle plays, the larger macro choices between Rate, their control of the vision has been oh so good to limit how much Lucent can get in return for these plays. And then when these plays eventually are found, even with their gold lead, it gets turned around. It's a very tricky position for Lucent to be in.
Well, 23 minutes on the clock, and it looks like Rate bringing everybody up towards this bot side, or at least a couple of players, actually. It's quite spread, but they are slowly bringing Hoys over as well. They want to use this Baron push as effective as possible. The last tower outside the base has gone down. Right now, probably just waiting on the rest of the team to step up, as Goros has actually been caught out here by Velocity, but it's going to be A-okay. Girl about to lose that Gnar, and now with everybody closing in, it does look like this tower is going to be on the menu here for the side of Ray. Little Pants maybe looking for a very big ultimate. It's going to be so hard, though, through the likes of Velocity, as DBL getting zoned away here. Has going to have to pop the Cyclone, and that's now the ultimate down on the Monkey, so they're sitting quite happy with that.
Yeah, and on top of that as well, Chorus is already half HP. Lucent were already starting this fight from behind, and now having burnt that Cyclone as well, they're just going to wait for next wave. Remember, this mid wave is going to be permanently pushing until the inhibitor comes back up again, and it's something that's always in the back of mind of Lucent when they're trying to stop the second inhib being pulled. And just look at Carl, he's going to immediately clear this wave, and it puts that time on top of that. And even if Rate don't unlock this top lane turret, very unlikely by the way, as they look immediately to pick up Little Pants.
Yeah, not going to be able to catch him. Just gets half his health taken down. Also, Wave slowly pushing in towards Lucent on the top side as well. So eventually someone has to go handle that wave. As down goes the tower, down goes the inhibitor, and right now with full health bars, Baron in pocket, probably just looking to close this game out. Errol trying to catch out onto Yuta, has got that fate sealed as he's just going to zip back. That champion is so ridiculous, by the way. Able to jump all the way back to safety as they do catch out onto Fuyu. Fuyu may have a whole bunch of damage to put into Curl, forces him to flash. The Killer Instinct comes down, and Curl once again making a massive mistake, but Killer Instinct has gone down in the meanwhile. DBL on the flank, and Ray actually may just have to give up the chance to win there because Curl got greedy.
Yeah, indeed. Fuyu actually playing it exceptionally well as well. Dropping the exhaust, he reads the flash from Curl. Pretty small things once again coming in to secure that kill and relinquish some of this pressure. However, Rate, they have so many goals that they can put themselves towards where Lucent can't really interact with them. Now, Lucent, you can see how aggressive they're playing. They're still looking for this potential fight if possible, but considering how strong these members are and how tanky they are too, I mean, look at the damage.
Oh, Errol, the clone caught the fate seal, so he couldn't get the distance closed. DBL is forced to flash there at least.
And yeah, this is second Drake now, but we know this isn't where Rate's eyes are on. This is the insurance play for them. Their next eyes are potentially towards this inhibitor, but more likely going to be keeping this pressure up, clearing through the jungle, restricting this gold even more, because even with this this build coming in from Errol, he still perpetually scales. The IE now picked up for Hoys. He's incredibly strong as well, but he can still build into this Lord Doms. They're not hitting power breakdowns yet, which means they can continue to build up as much pressure as possible, clear through jungle, keep vision up, play for the second Baron, and that, hopefully, will look for them to secure the game.
It's interesting as well, because Hoys has been given this Xayah. Like, Hoys is a Xayah player. Like, he also plays Ziggs as well, for anyone who's not been around Hoys for a while. But I have, and I've seen this guy being Ziggs and Xayah player. They're like two champs that come to mind when I think of this guy. Very strong at the moment, and it works perfectly for his team. The fact he was able to pick this champion up into the fact that Lucent knew that they wanted to play this dive comp. Very interesting to me, but unfortunately that is going to be a little bit too late for them to kind of reflect on that now, as it looks like Ray just looking to close out the last structure outside of the Nexus, as Little Pants will lose half his health, and The tower should be quick to follow. DBL going in for the quick clone form, and out he goes to safety. Yuta needs to proto belt away. Winter's Bite connects onto him, and he's in trouble.
Yeah, this is the pressure of this Yone as the fight begins once again.
Poise should just be able to take this one. Here comes Curl, though. He's got the Gnar this time. 2 members against the wall, and down goes the Akali. Down goes DBL. The fate is sealed here for the side of Lucent as they are aced. Poise finds a triple kill. Every structure will fall to rate, and they just put on a masterclass in game number 2.
What an absolute representation of how this game has been going so far. They very cleanly come in with a very titanic win over. I think Lucent, after that win on Tuesday, maybe felt a little bit more pressure coming into this, and it's been taken away from them once again. They're back on the bottom of the scoreboard, not sitting very comfortable right now. Secure them temporarily, securing them that second place. So good job to them.
Really good game there from Ray. Really solid stuff overall. But we are going to get ourselves ready for a break. And then when we're back, we'll have our interviews with the winners. Right. So we'll see you in a moment.